Frank, you're next up with a team. When we started this show, we had some heated debates on the Tennessee Titans. I was all in on the Titans last year. I'm a moron. Frank, what is your question now for the Titans?
I think it's obvious with the Titans. The one big thing for the Titans this year is, can Will Levis be their franchise quarterback? And I think the term franchise quarterback gets overused sometimes. To many, it means like some MVP type of guy. Whereas I'm just talking about, can he be the guy who just is the answer for a decade? Whether he's the 15th best quarterback in the NFL or even better than that, can they just go into every single offseason saying, well, we don't need to worry about quarterback. We have Will Levis. He's at least good enough to win with if we build a good team around him. I just don't know with Will Levis. He was really good at times last year. I mean, you look back, his first game, throws 4 touchdowns against the Falcons. The comeback against the Dolphins, I thought he was excellent in that game. Also had a good game against Jacksonville in a loss. But in the other games, he wasn't that good. He needs to find some consistency with this. Can we see that 4 touchdown against Atlanta, Will Levis most of the season? Maybe. He was a guy who, remember, it was kind of ridiculous, but people were saying maybe this is the first pick of the draft. I do think he has that physical talent. I think he has that Josh Allen-esque qualities to his game, but I think the Titans need to figure out sooner rather than later, is this the guy who we just check that box every year? Okay, it's 2032. Will Levis is our franchise quarterback. We don't need to worry about that. Or are they fishing in these waters again next year? Because if Will Levis stinks, they're probably going to be drafting in the top 5 next year.
Well, and they'll be drafting a quarterback at that point, right? Like, because this is not Callahan's quarterback. And new head coach, that comes from Cincinnati, that understands what a great quarterback looks like. This is not Joe Burrow. This is not the quarterback he drafted either. So I think it's a very fair question, of where they should stand on this. And what's interesting to me, I'll go back to what a couple of people that covered him closely in college told me, that in college he had a hard time letting go of his mistakes. So he would throw an interception in the first quarter and in the fourth quarter still be thinking about it. And he's the sort of guy that really needs to be built up by the coaching staff. He needs to be sort of insulated and managed by the coaching staff in a way that he can handle those emotions, because he can be hard. He can be hard on himself in a way that is actually detrimental to his play. That sticks to me because he's on a team that's going to need him to take some chances, which means he's going to throw some picks. He's got some good weapons around him. Can they, as a coaching staff, get the best around him? I really think that one of the hardest teams to figure out this offseason are the Titans, because they've done the right things around Will Levis. I just don't know what to expect from Will Levis. And to be fair to what I said about the Patriots earlier, I don't know what to expect from Callahan as a first-time head coach. So I think the Titans are in a bit of a transition. I wouldn't be stunned to see the Titans suddenly find themselves right around 500. I wouldn't be stunned to see the Titans with 5 wins. I know it feels like that's a cop-out, but I just don't know what to expect from this team. So I think you're 1,000% right.
Yeah, let me ask you just straight out. In 5 years, is Will Levis the starting quarterback of the Titans? Because I'll say, I kind of think he is. I'm a little bit in on him. I like the talent.
I think yes, but I think he's the starting quarterback kind of like a Ryan Tannehill. He's not breaking the bank. Mm-hmm. He's not an epic guy. One interesting note we need to keep in mind, he was a 2nd-round draft pick, which means they don't have the 5th year on him. So as he enters year 2, the clock ticks a little differently, because they'll have to make decisions on Will Levis more quickly than a lot of teams do on their franchise quarterback because of the 2nd-round pick. 5 years, you think is he their starter? Is he the man?
I do, yeah. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and think that they've put enough talent around him where he can be, like you said, a Ryan Tannehill type franchise quarterback, where you're not necessarily, Patrick Mahomes, but you're also not for a few years there, Tannehill was clearly their guy, and I think Levis can kind of be that guy for the Titans going forward.